Hello, my name is Amelia Alfiero. I'm a junior at Bloomsburg University. I am an environmental science and political science major with a minor in emergency management, and I chose this topic because I am interested on how different countries respond to natural disasters. Today, I am presenting on China's response to natural disasters.
What natural hazards does China face? A natural hazard is a naturally occurring process that has potential to cause significant harm to people, property, and the environment. A hazard does not become a disaster until an event actually happens. So what are some natural hazards that China face? Well, droughts can cause the soil to dry out, meaning the soil can't absorb as much water as it typically could. This makes droughted areas much more prone to flooding after the fact. An earthquake is a sudden shaking of the ground's surface caused by the release of energy in the crust as tectonic plates slip past each other along a fault line. Monsoon rains are a seasonal shift in wind direction leading to a wet and dry season. A typhoon is a severe tropical cyclone that forms in the northwest Pacific Ocean, and China gets hit with about 7 of them a year. At a both global and regional level, climate change has increased and will continue to exacerbate the frequency and intensity of disasters in China. China's population distribution is primarily located towards the southeast coast of the country. Geographically, coasts are generally more prone to natural hazards like flooding and storms. However, they provide useful economic opportunities in the forms of ports and trading. Thus, economic centers grow around the coasts. This population distribution disparity is shown by the Hu line. The Hu line separates the country's wild and empty west from the vastly more populated east. 94% of China's population lives east of the Hu line, while only 6% lives west. Since most Chinese people live near the hazard-prone coast, China has a large vulnerable population. The areas shown in red are people that have been affected by 8 to 9 natural hazard events in 2014. However, people continue to live in these disaster-prone areas because of cultural and economic opportunities. People generally do not like to move, even if they live in a hazardous area. So let's take a look at some historical disasters in China. Some historical disasters China has faced is the 1998 China floods. They claimed the lives of 4,150 people and damaged 6.8 million houses. In 2008, a magnitude 8 earthquake killed 70,000 people plus 18,000 people missing and caused about 159 billion of US dollars in direct economic losses. Today, China is the world's biggest water user, accounting for 13% of the world's freshwater consumption. The first issue is China's uneven distribution of water. Because of its large and diverse geography, China has a wide spectrum of terrains and climate zones. Historically, China has dealt with some major flooding and droughts. For example, between mid-April and the end of May 2006, southern and northeastern China endured 3 brutal rainstorms, bringing a rainfall of 15.7 inches or more per day. This resulted in regional flooding and the destruction of vast crop fields and thousands of homes, and also 60 to 70 human deaths and direct economic losses of nearly 1.6 billion. At the same time, however, northern China was experiencing a severe drought that affected about 450 million acres of farmland, 8.7 million livestock, and 95 million people. China still faces water issues today. In the summer of 2022, southwest China suffered its worst drought since 1980, with a rainfall deficit extremely high and a temperature anomaly as well. Northern China faced the same problem. It often receives far too little rainwater, largely because it has 2/3 of China's total cropland and 43% of its population, but only 14% of its water supply. In the Hebei region, next to Beijing, the water level also falls in their deep aquifers 3 meters every year. Rivers are also used for their water, but overuse has diminished even the Yellow River to a trickle. The Yellow River, northern China's main river, has dried up every year since 1985. According to one report, water shortages are responsible for the direct economic losses of 35 billion annually, about 2.5 times the average annual losses due to floods. Earthquakes are caused by tectonic activity. Unfortunately, China is located in the two largest earthquake focus areas in the world, the Pacific Rim seismic belt and the Eurasian seismic belt. Earthquakes that occur in China are strong. The vast majority that occur on the mainland are shallow, meaning the depth of the hypocenter is within 20 kilometers of the surface. China is the world's most earthquake-prone country, and they suffer the most serious earthquakes. In the 20th century, 116 earthquakes occurred above a magnitude 7 were in China. This accounted for 6% of the world's earthquakes and approximately 29% of the world's continental earthquakes. A typhoon is a tropical cyclone that develops in the northern hemisphere and produces a sustained hurricane-force winds of at least 74 miles per hour. This region is referred to as the Northwestern Pacific Basin, accounting for almost one-third of the world's tropical cyclones. China is a mountainous country, which leads to the rapid dissipation of cyclones that move inland, as well as significant amounts of rain dissipating from those cyclones. Around 7 tropical cyclones hit the eastern coastal areas annually. As you can see, China is reducing the amount of lives lost and economic damage as time goes on. While each storm is different, better early warning system and evacuation processes reduce the deaths in a disaster, and better engineering and flood prevention help with economic losses. The Ministry of Emergency Management is the 24th ranked executive department of the State Council of the People's Republic of China. It is responsible for the country's emergency management, work safety, and emergency rescue. It is a result of the merger from emergency management departments in various ministries due to a state council reform in 2018. Another governmental body that helps with natural hazards is China's Meteorological Administration. The CMA's national operational body, the National Meteorological Center, issues forecasts and warnings for typhoon and other high-impact weather events. They set up a real-time statistical forecast error analysis system covering not only tropical cyclone tracking and intensity forecasts, but also tropical cyclone motion and speed and direction. This system can be used to reevaluate real-time forecasts and lead to the reasonable refinement of forecasting techniques. To address common flooding of the South, China has recently built the Three Gorges Dams. It's an ambitious and controversial project meant to monitor and control the Yangtze River water levels to prevent future floods. In the most recent National Water Network Construction Planning Outline published by the State Council, the construction of national water networks by 2035 is among the backbones of future flood prevention. The backbones in the documents also include large, hard-engineered structures on the main rivers, such as embankments, floodgates, and channelized river networks to mitigate flood risk. The Ministry of Emergency Management said that these measures have reduced the number of deaths and missing people as a result of natural disasters by 54% over 2018 to 2022, as compared to 2013 to 17. The death toll continued to fall in 2023, but the number of destroyed buildings and direct economic losses rose by 97% and 13%, respectively, compared with the 2018 to 2022 levels. In 2015, the Sponge City program concept was written into a policy document of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Rural Development. It was promoted across the country in 30 major cities. Those sponge cities are designed to collect, purify, and reuse at least 70% of the floodwaters through green-blue facilities, such as green roofs, permeable pavements, and stormwater parks in urban areas. The overall system was meant to resolve issues of urban heating, freshwater scarcity, and flooding all at once. China will continue to engineer different solutions to protect their cities that have historically been plagued by disaster. Thank you for watching my presentation on how China has responded to natural disasters and how they plan to in the future. These are my sources and they will also be linked in the description. Thank you for watching.